79 years ago, the world changed forever. In August 1945, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, bringing World War II to a sudden and devastating end. Today, we're going to explore the story behind these events, not to place blame, but to understand the history and reflect on its profound impact on humanity. Let's journey back to one of the most pivotal moments of the 20th century. The year is 1945. World War II has been raging for 6 long years. In Europe, the war had ended in May, but in the Pacific, the conflict between the Allied forces, led by the United States, and the Empire of Japan continued with brutal intensity. The fighting was fierce, with battles like Iwo Jima and Okinawa resulting in immense casualties on both sides. The prospect of a full-scale invasion of the Japanese mainland, codenamed Operation Downfall, loomed. Military planners predicted that such an invasion could lead to millions of casualties, both Allied and Japanese. Meanwhile, a top-secret project was underway in the United States, the Manhattan Project. Since 1939, a team of the world's most brilliant scientists, including J. Robert Oppenheimer, had been racing to develop a new kind of weapon, one that harnessed the power of the atom. On July 16, 1945, in the desert of New Mexico, they conducted the Trinity test, the world's first successful detonation of an atomic bomb. The power unleashed was unlike anything ever seen before. A new, terrifying era had begun. Following the successful test, the Allied leaders met at the Potsdam Conference. They issued the Potsdam Declaration, calling for the unconditional surrender of Japan. The declaration warned of prompt and utter destruction if Japan refused. The Japanese government, however, did not accept the terms. For American President Harry S. Truman, who had taken office after Franklin D. Roosevelt's death, the decision was immense. He was faced with the choice of either authorizing a bloody land invasion or using the newly developed atomic bomb in the hope of forcing quick surrender and saving lives in the long run. On the morning of August 6, 1945, an American B-29 bomber named the Enola Gay flew over Hiroshima, a city of industrial and military significance. At 8:15 a.m., it released a single bomb, nicknamed Little Boy. The bomb detonated about 2,000 feet above the city center, creating a blinding flash of light and a massive fireball that generated heat hotter than the surface of the sun. A destructive shockwave and subsequent firestorm leveled nearly the entire city. Tens of thousands of people were killed instantly. Many more would suffer from the effects of radiation in the days, weeks, and years to come. Despite the unimaginable destruction at Hiroshima, the Japanese government still did not surrender. 3 days later, on August 9th, another B-29 boxcar was sent on a mission to drop a second bomb, Fat Man. The primary target was the city of Kokura, but heavy clouds and smoke forced the plane to divert to its secondary target, Nagasaki. This city, home to a major port and industrial plants, was also devastated. The hilly terrain of Nagasaki contained the blast more than the flat plains of Hiroshima, but the destruction was still catastrophic. In the aftermath of the 2 bombings, the situation in Japan was dire. The leadership was in shock, grappling with the reality of this new weapon, and the Soviet Union's declaration of war on Japan on August 9th. Emperor Hirohito, in an unprecedented move, intervened. He addressed his council and expressed his belief that the war must end to prevent the complete destruction of the Japanese nation. On August 15, 1945, the people of Japan heard the emperor's voice for the first time, as he announced the nation's surrender in a radio broadcast. World War II was finally over. The long-term effects of the bombings were profound. The survivors, known as hibakusha, faced not only physical injuries. Their stories are a powerful testament to human resilience and the deep scars left by the conflict. The cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki have since been rebuilt into vibrant, modern metropolises, but they have never forgotten their past. Both cities are now dedicated to advocating for peace and the abolition of nuclear weapons. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park and the Nagasaki Peace Park serve as solemn reminders of the past and beacons of hope for a peaceful future. The decision to use the atomic bombs remains one of the most debated topics in history. Some argue it was a military necessity that saved more lives than it cost by ending the war quickly and avoiding a costly invasion. Others contend that it was an unnecessary act, that Japan was already on the verge of surrender, and that the bombings were morally unjustifiable. There are no easy answers, and historians continue to analyze the complex factors that led to this decision. The world was forever changed, living under the shadow of potential nuclear annihilation. This led to the Cold War arms race, but also inspired international efforts to control nuclear proliferation and promote disarmament. The story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is not just a chapter in a history book. It's a crucial lesson for all of humanity about the consequences of war and the immense responsibility that comes with scientific power. By understanding this history, we honor the memory of all those who were affected and reaffirm our shared commitment to building a world free from the threat of nuclear weapons. It's a reminder that peace is precious and must be actively pursued and protected by every generation. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into a very important and somber part of our world history. If you found this video informative, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores the stories that have shaped our world. Let's keep learning from the past to build a better future. Thanks for watching.